A paradise in the heart of a barren desert. This is a nation wagering $500 billion on a single vision. NEOM is more than a city. It is an experiment to reshape power through design and scale. With the line costing $100 billion and Trojena adding $15 billion, the ambition is immense. But what happens when vision meets reality? What does it reveal about control? Watch until the end, or you might miss the moment. This utopian dream begins to fracture and exposes the true architecture of modern power. NEOM. Behavior align under conditions that have never been tested at this scale. Forging a city beyond time. Imagine a city where energy does not come from the grid, but from the sky itself. NEOM was designed from the beginning not just as a city that looks futuristic, but as one that operates on an entirely different energy logic. The ambition is absolute because NEOM is planned to run on 100% renewable energy, eliminating fossil fuels from daily urban life, in a region historically defined by oil wealth. This includes large-scale solar farms, wind energy installations along the Red Sea coast, and advanced energy storage systems capable of stabilizing supply at a city-wide level. What makes this vision colossal is the infrastructure demand required to engineer architecture at this scale. Comparable renewable projects around the world already demand investments measured in tens of billions of dollars, and NEOM's energy backbone alone is expected to consume a significant portion of its $500 billion overall budget, with solar installations alone estimated at $30 to $50 billion, and wind infrastructure at another $20 to $30 billion. Energy, however, is only one layer of the system because NEOM's planners envision a fully integrated smart grid where electricity, water, transportation, and data move through a single optimized network. Sensors embedded across the city are designed to monitor consumption in real time, automatically adjusting lighting, cooling, and transit flow to minimize waste. Water desalination plants powered by renewables aim to supply fresh water without the emissions typically associated with large-scale desalination, a process that in traditional cities can cost billions of dollars annually in energy expenditure alone. Transportation follows the same philosophy where private cars are meant to be largely unnecessary, replaced by autonomous electric transit systems that reduce congestion. developments regularly require tens of billions of dollars in upfront investment to simulate environments that NEOM already possesses naturally. Geography is not a luxury. It is not negotiable. It is the unshakable foundation upon which every ambitious project either rises or collapses. NEOM dominates because its location dominates, transforming land into a long-term strategic asset where even marginal improvements in connectivity translate into returns measured in billions of dollars over decades. This is not architecture working. This is not technology succeeding. This is geography deciding whether the entire vision survives, chasing an idea that defies reality. Many believe that architecture is the deceptive moonlight guiding humanity toward impossible dreams. But utopia refused that narrative entirely. In 1516, English philosopher Thomas More published Utopia, a work that deliberately exposed the paradox at the heart of human ambition. The word utopia itself was derived from Greek roots meaning both good place and no place, signaling from the very beginning that perfection might be desirable, yet fundamentally unreachable. More was not describing a real city, but constructing a mirror, one that reflected humanity's dissatisfaction with the present and its obsession with designing a better future on paper. What makes utopia so powerful is not geography, but timing. Throughout history, utopian visions tend to emerge during moments of radical transition, periods when old systems begin to fail and new technologies promise control over chaos. The Industrial Revolution produced factory cities and planned communities, costing hundreds of millions of dollars in accumulated investment. The post-war era produced modernist urban grids financed by state reconstruction budgets, and the digital age produces smart cities and algorithmic governance backed by billions in sovereign wealth. Each era believes it has finally unlocked the tools to fix what previous generations could not. Even though the pattern repeats with remarkable consistency, utopia reappears not because it works, but because uncertainty demands reassurance. At its core, utopia is psychological rather than physical. It represents humanity's desire to design away risk, friction, and unpredictability, replacing organic complexity with systems that can be optimized, measured, and controlled. A perfect city promises efficiency, harmony, and order, but it also assumes that human behavior can be engineered as easily as infrastructure costing $50 billion or more. This tension is what makes utopian projects so compelling and so fragile at the same time. They offer solutions to real problems, but only by simplifying realities that are anything but simple. Throughout history, utopian thinking has always walked a fine line between inspiration and overconfidence. The more ambitious the vision, the more it relies on centralized planning, concentrated power, and absolute belief in future outcomes. These ideas are rarely modest. They aim to reset civilization, to start again from zero, and to prove that this time, the design is finally right. So here's my question. When you look at NEOM's $500 billion ambition, do you see the pattern repeating again, or do you genuinely believe this time is different? Comment below, because your answer reveals whether you think we've learned from history. Vision 2030, redefining Saudi Arabia's global influence. NEOM is not merely a city project, it is the crystallization of a breakthrough vision for future strategy. It sits at the core of Vision 2030, Saudi Arabia's long-term plan to reduce dependence on oil revenue and reposition the country inside the global economy. For decades, oil exports generated the majority of national income, but fluctuations in energy markets exposed the vulnerability of relying on a single resource. Vision 2030 reframes national wealth as something that must be diversified, monetized through technology, tourism, logistics, and advanced services, with NEOM acting as the most visible proof that this transition is meant to be permanent rather than symbolic. The financial backing behind this shift is unprecedented. Saudi Arabia's sovereign investment apparatus controls assets estimated at over $700 billion, capital designed not for short-term returns, but for reshaping national positioning across generations. NEOM's $500 billion budget represents a deliberate concentration of that capital into one flagship experiment, a signal to global markets that Saudi Arabia is willing to deploy state-scale resources to compete with established innovation hubs like Silicon Valley and Shenzhen. Unlike private mega-developments, NEOM does not need to generate immediate profit. Its value lies in long-term leverage, attracting foreign direct investment, global talent, and institutional partnerships that extend far beyond the city's borders. This approach reflects a broader power shift. Instead of exporting raw resources, Saudi Arabia aims to export platforms, infrastructure, and influence. NEOM is designed to host multinational headquarters, advanced research facilities, and high-value industries that anchor capital inside the country rather than sending it outward. If successful, even modest returns on a $500 billion investment could translate into tens of billions of dollars annually in diversified economic output, altering how the nation is priced by investors and perceived by geopolitical partners. What makes NEOM risky is not ambition, but concentration. By tying so much symbolic and financial weight to a single project, Vision 2030 exposes itself to reputational and execution risk. If NEOM thrives, it becomes a template for national transformation, but if it stalls, the cost is not only financial, it becomes narrative, and narratives determine whether the world trusts you or abandons you. So here's what nobody is asking openly. What happens if the vision succeeds but the foundation beneath it collapses? The hidden price behind a flawless vision. Like a glittering oasis in the middle of an endless desert, water, light, life, everything seems abundant, but step a little further, and you're reminded, beyond the illusion, the sand still stretches infinitely, unforgiving and empty. This is the moment NEOM faced, when vision collided with reality long before construction reached maturity. Behind the futuristic renderings and the $500 billion budget, serious allegations began to surface regarding how land was cleared for development. Reports from international observers described forced displacement involving the Huaytat tribe, a community with deep historical ties to the region designated for construction. These accusations reframed NEOM overnight, shifting the narrative from innovation and sustainability to ethics, governance, and human cost, elements that no amount of capital can easily neutralize or erase from global consciousness. The financial implications of controversy are immediate and measurable. In 2020, a major global esports organization withdrew from a sponsorship partnership connected to Saudi initiatives, citing reputational concerns tied to human rights allegations. While the exact value of the deal was not publicly disclosed, comparable esports partnerships often range from tens of millions of dollars, signaling that NEOM's image risk had begun to translate into tangible economic consequences. This withdrawal highlighted a new reality for state-led mega-projects, where global public opinion and corporate accountability can interrupt even the most well-funded ambitions, where brand reputation matters more than money. At the center of the backlash is the accusation of sports washing, the strategy of using high-profile entertainment, sports, and cultural investments to reshape international perception. Saudi Arabia has committed billions of dollars to global sporting events, tourism campaigns, and futuristic branding efforts, with NEOM positioned as the crown jewel of this rebranding strategy. Critics argue that a city marketed as ethical, sustainable, and human-centered cannot coexist with unresolved allegations of coercion and suppression, creating a credibility gap that technology alone cannot bridge, a gap that grows wider with every investment made. What makes this tension particularly dangerous is scale. When a project costs $500 billion, failure is not limited to balance sheets. It affects diplomatic trust, investor confidence, and national reputation. Even if NEOM succeeds technically, questions remain about whether a city built on contested ground can function as a moral symbol for the future. Utopias are fragile because they promise perfection, and perfection leaves little room for compromise or contradiction. The moment you compromise on ethics, the entire vision fractures. This is where the real cost emerges, not in dollars spent, but in trust destroyed. So here's my challenge to you. Can a perfect city justify its $500 billion cost if the ethical foundation remains unresolved? Or does true progress require limits that even billion-dollar visions must respect? Comment below with your answer, because your position on this question reveals whether you believe in ambition at any cost, or progress with conscience. Like this video if you think ethics should come before engineering, because that choice defines our collective future. What this story ultimately reveals is that building the future is never just about technology or money, and NEOM proves it through 3 unmistakable lessons. First, when vision becomes hubris, vision without limits creates scale, but scale alone does not guarantee success. Even a $500 billion ambition cannot escape collapse if accountability is ignored. Second, where geography decides power, location, logistics, and energy shape reality far more than design, and the cost of that reality makes the future accessible only to those who can afford it. Third, the cost of broken trust. Without ethics and trust, even the most advanced visions fracture under global scrutiny. If this changes how you see power, like and subscribe to Wealth Dominion. If there's a person or topic you want us to explore next, leave a comment below. Because next, we go deeper into the invisible systems shaping the world.